Scrubbers. Hi and welcome to February, basically. Today I am just going to introduce my project for the month. I heard of a challenge called Finish It February in a Facebook group, and well, basically I'm buried under hordes, countless unfinished projects. And it got me thinking about putting together a consolidated effort to finish one of them at least this month. I do have a pile of unfinished layouts that I could quickly add dates and journaling and a few details to and put them away. But this album is of a trip, it's my honeymoon actually, that we took over 15 years ago in pre-kids, pre-digital photography days, and it has been sadly neglected. I know everybody leaves their wedding album and that sort of thing is sort of too much emotional weight. This honeymoon album is fairly similar in sort of emotional tone for me, I guess. I have done some pages for it over the years at crops, but as I look at it now, I can see they're haphazard, and I would like to have the album be a bit more cohesive than that. So I'm just going to do a quick flip through today, and maybe my next video will be putting together a kit that will help it be cohesive. And hopefully by the end of February I'll at least have a framework, if not most of my layouts completed. I'm not going to do everything as layouts. I am going to mix layouts and pocket pages, just because at some locations we took tons of photos and didn't necessarily have a lot of stories to tell. It was just really pretty and picturesque. And then there's all the stories that I didn't have photos to go with, so we'll have a mix. Anyway, I have picked out this paper for a title page. I'm going to print out all the places and dates, hopefully to fit on this 4x6 card. And I don't really have a photo for that, I don't think, unless I can find one of my husband and I. And we didn't actually take photos together. Crazy, crazy days. This is long before I was a scrapbooker and long before I thought about documenting things in that way. So it will be what it will be. I'm reserving this page for some stories about Madrid, which I have no photos from. And at the moment I can't find my memorabilia, so I don't even have that. But I do have some stories to tell. Mainly, they're not happy stories. I got strep throat and had to take some whomping antibiotics, and didn't really enjoy my first couple days of my honeymoon. But so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to tackle that. This is a page I've done quite a while ago that just needs a little bit of journaling and some dates. It was really just an overnight stop that we took in a town called Burgos, which we were quite charmed by and would have liked a bit more time in. I think we didn't get to see the cathedral because it was closed for a wedding. We didn't really want to crash some stranger's wedding. And I'm mixing in some pocket pages. This was when we were up in San Sebastian, and I just took tons of photos of the harbor because it was so pretty. And the skies were lovely, and yeah, would have loved to spend a little bit more time there. So one thing about our trip is we didn't dawdle anywhere. We covered a lot of ground. So a couple more pages for San Sebastian because it is just lovely, and we had some lovely times there. That was sort of the beginning of, well, it was one of the more romantic stops that we took. We didn't have a terribly romantic honeymoon. It was kind of hardcore traveling. These pages I did for a Get It Scrapped workshop years ago now. And I love these pages. I look at them now and I can see that this page might stand out in terms of the colors and the sort of brightness of it relative to how I was thinking of going, the color palette I was thinking of using for the rest of the album. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle that. But I did see the stitching on these two albums, and I thought that might be a theme that I bring through the album to help as a little bit of a unifying technique, I guess. And then a lot more empty pages. And I've got this 2-page spread of our stop in Porto, which also needs journaling. I did this one during Chamel's 4x6 Photo Love course that was on 2Ps. It was one of their 1-year courses. And those videos are still available on the 2Ps YouTube channel. I think I might link to that because those are, I find those sketches and her page designs that she did for that course very, very useful for albums like this, where, especially a travel album, where there's just so many photos that I want to include. So this would have been April, because there's 4x6. I kind of cheated and added this little cut up photo just now because it's just a happy little moment that I didn't want to leave out. Added a few more photos in here, just general scenery. We did a road trip from Porto up the Douro Valley, which was fabulous. It was September, mid-September, so it was harvest season, and what a perfect time to go there. So we did a winery tour at one of the Fonseca Guimarães wineries that we just happened to see a sign for at the side of the road. Quickly turned around and headed on back there. It was really a lovely little detour. And then I actually gonna have to add or change some pages around. There's a lot of ground to cover between the Douro Valley and the Marvaux Castle. So I'll have to do some rearranging, and these are just a few other Portuguese stops that we took. This was a charming town. Love this church. And this, oh gosh, I have to show this photo. I'm gonna have a lot of fun making a photo layout of this because these are cork oaks that had just had the cork harvested, and so the tree is actually really, really bright rusty orange. And since this was pre-digital, I was actually taking photos with film, and I had forgotten that I had black and white film in my camera. We pulled over and I took a bunch of photos of these lovely trees, and they really don't look that great in black and white. So I'm gonna have to maybe try to find a photo somewhere that'll show that color, or maybe I'll just make a layout showing the color that should be. I'm not sure how I'm gonna handle that. And that is about as far as I've gotten. So I have a whole lot of page protectors that I've gathered, and I have some 6x12 page protectors that I want to use as well for a few photos here and there, and my photo album that is just packed with photos. And I will come back in a while with a kit to work with, and I'll show you the progress through the month, and hopefully by the end of February, this album will actually tell a story, because this is, my husband and I rushed into starting a family pretty much immediately after this trip, so this was kind of our foundational couple time. And we didn't have a lot of that time together. So it's kind of an important album for me. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you come back and watch some more. And in the meantime, ciao.